What's up, scribblers? All right, today we're gonna draw this guy.
Let's go!
Mr. Mario. All right, so this is the first kind of humanish character that I've taken on. But he's still very cartoony, very... unique in his design. He has a big circular nose. So usually I start with a circle just to kind of give me a shape of the head. So I haven't done any tutorials on a human head, but maybe I'll do that in the future. But what I like to do is just kind of draw a circle and then maybe two kind of lines down. And you always see these construction lines when people are drawing, but for Mario, we don't have to get into all of that. But what I would do is just basically circle two lines and then connect the circles at the bottom. It's essentially what I do. But for Mario, there's this giant circle in the middle, which is his big nose. And then above that, behind there are these two ovalish kind of eyes. Now the top of his head is kind of cut off from his big giant hat, which has kind of a ridge like so, and then it juts out like a big, almost like a mushroom. And then he's got that circle with the M on it. So we're drawing him right now in just kind of a front-facing pose. So I could put his ears. I'd basically just make two more circles. And then we can connect everything a little later. So you got this going into that, that going into there. Now the big, or one of the biggest, I guess, defining marks of Mario is his luxurious mustache. So from about middle of the nose, I draw kind of two lines pointing upward. And then you could just have a bumpy path that arches below the nose to find the other point here. And that's that great mustache. As for his eyes, we could just put a little smaller oval in the middle, which will be his kind of pupils. Color those in with a little light highlight to give it some life. Keep your lines light and just kind of play with it, see what works. No need to get it perfect right away. So keep your pencil light. Feel free to use your eraser. It's all good stuff. Now, because his mustache is kind of blocking his mouth area, I'm going to kind of change his initial shape that we had and just open his mouth a little bit. So you won't see that top lip because the mustache is covering it. So I'm going to pretend like that's his open mouth, and then just kind of bring his chin down a little bit. So his actual face shape ended up being a bit bigger than what we planned originally. That's okay. There you go. His eyebrows would be here, but the hat is kind of covering it. So you could even put little hints of eyebrows. Just depends on where your line is here for the hat. For his cap. And that is more or less Mario's face. Now, as for his body, he's kind of this little squat guy. Of course, it depends on what style you want to draw him in. But today, the way I would do it, I guess, just make another kind of almost teardrop shape. But the teardrop would be starting in the middle of his face, so you don't have to draw that whole point, but just the bottom of a teardrop. Yeah, that works, I guess. You can make it even, if you wanted to make it even cuter, you could kind of shove him down a little bit, shrink everything. Then he takes on more of that kind of chibi style, which is like kind of cute anime. So I'm giving him some arms here that just jut out to the side. Mario is always wearing gloves. And I think he only has, does he have 5 fingers or 4? Let's give him 5 anyway. But it doesn't matter, we'll make it into a fist. So the way I draw a fist, you could just put 2 little circles. And when you're looking at your own hand, a fist is just kind of a mass with some knuckles, and so the way I do it is just kind of like that, and then a thumb. It's kind of like a pentagon shape, hexagon maybe, a little thumb on it. And there's always that big ridge of the glove, these big white gloves. And the same thing over here. Just kind of curling his fist to the side. Could add more detail to that later. His legs will just kind of shoot out. Just 2 little tube legs. You can make them short. And then these big giant shoes. Big brown shoes that everybody in Mario has. It's plumbing shoes, I guess. Just something like that, just kind of a general foot shape. I try not to make the feet look too just like completely stuck out to the side, but maybe one is facing a bit more forward. So the perspective of that would have the actual foot look shorter, but you'd see the front of the shoe is here as opposed to over here. It's kind of there. So play around with that. It's kind of a more natural looking stance. But whatever you think looks good. And then he's got these soles at the bottom of the foot, the bottom of the shoe, to help him out with his height a little bit, probably. So he could look good for Peach and be impressive when he saves the day. Now, there's some detail missing in this midsection here. Mario is always wearing these great overalls. So overalls are pretty easy to draw. Just make 2 lines for the straps. Then he has these big circular buttons, I guess they are, to hold the overalls on. And then you could finish the strap like that. And then just anywhere here, depending on how plunging of a neckline you want to give him, you just add a line. And that is basically Mr. Mario. For these fists to look a bit different, I add this little kind of T shape. And that kind of simulates this kind of the thumb fold with the finger. It's just a kind of short, quick way that I've done that in the past. So there's a Mario. Yeah. Not too bad, kind of cute. And you could just play around with this character once again, like everyone. Try and draw him in different positions, doing different things. And maybe I'll try that for you now. Let's see how that goes.
Oo. Yahoo! Okie dokie. It's me.
There you go, guys. There's some Marios. It's a him. It's a fun character to draw. There's something that I forgot to mention, though. Just because I guess the front face perspective of him, you don't really see it, but when you're looking at him from the side, there's this little tuft of hair, this sideburn that kind of comes out that you'll notice on all these side shots. Oh, I forgot to do it here. This one's supposed to be Mario dabbing. I don't know if you could see that. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for next time. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for playing my game.